PHP variables. PHP variables are the simplest thing ever. So every PHP variable starts with the $sign. So now you understand what about the Lamborghinis. So that's right, because you're always writing $sign. It's just falling out of the sky. So every variable in PHP starts with $. So let's just see pp equals to 1. So this is how you declare a variable. If I just save it and reload, nothing's gonna happen because I don't do anything. But to print something to the output, you're gonna use either the print or the echo. So let's just use echo because I don't know. And you can just do echo pp there. And if I reload, see, there's the 1. There's the pp. pp is 1. So far so good. So echo is going to echo something to the standard output, which in this case it's captured by your server and it's showing in the browser. So very simple. No types, no whatever. You don't need to worry about it. Just PHP just doesn't do that. In PHP you can just assign anything to a variable. It's very similar to JavaScript, but it's not JavaScript. But what if I say false, for example? What's going to be printed? Nothing. Yeah, because there's no type coercion and nothing like that. It's not like JavaScript. This is PHP. When you usually print out a value of a variable, maybe do some debugging, you can use a debugger, but oftentimes it's just enough if you do something like var dump. See? Var dump is a function which dumps out, so we can read it, dumps information about a variable. Very useful. So if I now reload, see, it says that we have a boolean which is false. Can I? There. So you can see it right now. So we have a boolean. So if I do something like 1, it's gonna say it's an integer. If I say 1.1, then it's gonna say it's a float. So it's very nice. Now you know the variables. It's what it is. PHP is that simple. Except no, you can also declare constants. There are 2 ways to declare constants. One is when you say define, and you just define the constant name, right? You say pp, big pp. Let's just say 1, 2, 3, right? If now you try to access this like this, what's gonna happen? No, because this is not how you refer to a define. It's gonna be like this. What do you think? It's strange, right? It's very strange. These defines are referred to without the $sign. There's no Lamborghini there. There's no dollar, no Lamborghini. And there's another way using the const, pp1. Oh no, what did I do? It's the same thing. Okay, so let me just do it like this. It's the same thing. See? No $sign. And you might be asking, what the heck is wrong with PHP to having 2 ways of defining constants, right? So you have not seen that anywhere. Well, the thing is that the const keyword is basically a newer iteration. There's a big difference between the define and the const. And you're not gonna find it in the PHP documentation because why would they? Why would they put it in there? So they are essentially doing the same thing. But the define, which I used before, is going to define a variable and the global scope, right? So if you have a class and you define something there, it's not going to be a class define. It's not going to be bound to that class, to that object. It's going to be globally everywhere defined in that scope. See, and with the const, you can define like these local constants. So that's the big difference. And one other very big difference, which you will find in the documentation, is that one is, yeah, that's right. Tell them, Molly. So even the dog started to bark. One is defined during the runtime, and one is actually evaluated during what's that? Compilation. Yes. So one is defined during compilation, and the other one is defined during runtime. Well, that matters because const is the one that's defined in during compilation, and that means that the const needs to be on the top of the scope. So you can't do something like. Molly doesn't like PHP. What was I saying? So the constants need to be top on the scope because they are evaluated during compilation time. And the define, you can do something. You can put it in, for example, an if structure. So if you can do like if true, then define pp. It's gonna be 0, and else just copy this, right? And it's gonna be 1. I think unreachable code detected. Okay, it doesn't matter, but you can actually do that. So if I go like this, it's going to be 0. But if I were to do this, and I sure hope I can do that. Yeah, this page isn't working. HTTP error 500. Yeah, so there's an error, and unfortunately we are not seeing the error logs because I need to enable that in PHP. But I think I can also enable that in here with iniset. So but I don't wanna. So these errors. The thing about PHP running on a server, that sometimes you are not gonna see the errors. Sometimes you're just gonna see that there has been an HTTP error, means that there's a big error. There's something very big happening in here, and these errors go into the error log, which is located on the server. Cat error log. Yeah, it's the error log. Okay, so it's not the PHP whatever, because I usually use PHP CLI and that's a little bit different. Unexpected token const and whatever, so it can be there. Right off the bat, you're already loving PHP, right? It's so easy to use, right? When you the error log is just right in your face, right? That's always an issue, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You need to set it up correctly, but right now I'm just gonna demonstrate a few things. So you can't do this because this is not defined during runtime. It needs to be defined during compilation, and for that you just can't put it in a structure like that. In an FL structure, it's not gonna work. What's next? In PHP you can have variables from variables. So let's say I have a pp variable called big pp. I will define the $pp to small pp. The lint doesn't show me any errors, so that this seems to be correct. I should ask you that what's gonna be on the screen. What's gonna be printed? Is it gonna be big pp? Is it gonna be small pp? Or what's happening here? What's the $? What's happening? Well, the thing is, the value of pp is big pp. We also created a variable by the name of big pp. So if I put this in here, it's going to print small pp, which we assign it here. It kind of sucks, right? It doesn't really make sense, right? But it actually does. So it evaluates the value of the pp variable, which is big pp, as a string, and then it's like putting it in here, and now we have a big pp variable. I know this might sound stupid, but it's actually very useful. Just opens up your imagination. This will make some stuff very convenient in the future. Maybe I will prepare a video about that. So there, variable names from variables. One next thing. Variable scopes. From JavaScript, you got used to like function scopes inheriting variables from the global scope or from the scope above. So that's not the case in PHP. So if I do a function, this is how you make a function. That's very easy. And in this function, let's say I'm gonna dump. Let's just remove this so I don't confuse you even more. Oh, I didn't call the pp function. My bad. So it says null. So this variable here doesn't exist. These are completely separate scopes. They doesn't inherit. That's not like JavaScript. In JavaScript, if I have to do this pp variable would be available here. So I need to define this local variable, that's called big pp1, and it's gonna be big pp1. Is there a way I can get this variable, this big pp variable here? And yes, there is a way. I need to call the global pp. So if I declare global pp, that means that from the global scope, I want to use the pp variable. And now if I do a dump, I'm just going to get the big pp. Am I accessing the same variable here, or is it just a copy of it? Well, why don't we just test it, right? Why don't I just write in here that pp is small, right? After the pp call, let's just dump the pp variable again. So we call the function. We set the global that we want to use the global pp. We dump it, so it should print big pp like it did. And then we set it to small, and then we dump it again. So that's the question, what's going to happen? But this dump is in the global scope after the function call is complete. So the question is this a copy? If it's a copy, then it should still print big pp. If it's a reference, then it should print small. And it prints small. So the global keyword creates a reference to the global variable. It doesn't make a copy of it. Even though it's a primitive, it doesn't matter. This is not JavaScript. This is PHP. Here you have a reference to that variable. So every kind of change you make to that variable is going to reflect in the global scope as well. Very easy. It's the best language in the planet. There's one more thing, the static keyword. And you might be asking, what about that? You know, that's a class thing. Oh, not in PHP. In PHP, you can use the static keyword in a function. Because why not? So what if I said that I have a static pp, right? And I set it to 1. Then I dump the value, and then I say, okay, plus pp, right? Just increase the pp. And if I call the function once, it should print 1, right? It's right, it's 1. But if I call it another time, it prints 1 and 2. So the static keyword for the functions works similarly as for classes, that it's a shared variable in between function calls. This is very good if you want to, for example, do a counter like this. So you count how many times a function was called. It's a very neat thing. It's very good to share data in between function calls if you ever need to do that. And I think for the basics, this is more than sufficient. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.